Hello and welcome to the Commander's Quarters, your Magic the Gathering source that helps you command your budget. Hey everyone, before today's episode gets started, I just want to talk a little bit about the fight against Alzheimer's. For those of you that don't know, my family has been impacted by Alzheimer's, and my wife and I are members of the Young Champions for the Minnesota North Dakota chapter of the Alzheimer's Association. The world may look a little different right now, but one thing hasn't changed: the Alzheimer's Association's commitment to ending Alzheimer's. This year, Walk to End Alzheimer's is everywhere on every sidewalk, track, and trail. Due to COVID, this year won't be a large in-person gathering. Instead, everyone will be walking in small teams of friends and family. We are all still walking and fundraising for the same thing: a world without Alzheimer's and all other dementia. So I'm asking that if you can, please support our team for the Alzheimer's Association's Walk to End Alzheimer's. This walk is the world's largest event to raise awareness and funds for Alzheimer's care, support, and research. Thank you in advance, and you can find information and links below. And now, back to the show. Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander's Quarters studio with Eric.
Hi.
Eric has joined me again, clearly on a different day, wearing the exact same outfit.
I'm basically a cartoon character. This is the only outfit I have.
Whereas I have multiple outfits, most of which have been this sweatshirt recently. Vote is very important. And then also one of my hats. But yeah, anyways, clearly a very different day from the last time we recorded.
Definitely different day.
Definitely different day. And today's topic, like the day, is different. Eric, what is the topic for today?
We're going to talk about the awesome world of altered art cards.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Doesn't it?
It does. So
nice.
What are altered art cards? They sound exotic.
Yes. So alters are cards that have been altered. Think of it as like aftermarket parts for your Magic cards.
Got you. So like if you get a car and then like you're like, I don't like this paint job on the car, I want a different paint job, with a, pig logo on the side potentially, maybe a pink car with, pig logo.
Airbrush unicorn.
Yeah, that too,
Yeah.
Or just, a company car kind of thing, one of the two. But yeah, then that would be an altered car, but we're talking about altered cards.
Cards. Yeah.
Got it.
Cards. Yeah.
Close. Okay.
Same thing.
Pretty much same thing. Okay.
Same thing.
Got it. Okay, cool. So why are alters important?
Well, one could say, what is Magic without art? And I would say it's soulless.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think the game would be really boring if, you just had just the text on the card. It would be harder to identify cards, number one, kind of just on sight. And also, yeah, the art does just add kind of like it brings you into the game. It immerses you into the game.
Yeah. I mean,
it's enjoyable.
Yeah. I think the common term is flavor. I mean, we had an episode about flavor.
That is true.
So
you're trying to plug your old episodes now.
Yeah, man.
Check out this episode. Comment. Say how good Eric was.
Well, I basically live in this studio now, so
with your all black shirts, and that's it.
Yep.
Very easy to shop for.
I just blend into the background.
Exactly. So alters are growing in popularity right now. There are different kinds of altered cards, different kinds of ways to alter a card. Why don't you explain those to me?
Yeah. So there's a really large growing community, especially socially out on like Instagram and Twitter and stuff, of really talented artists that are taking all kinds of different takes on altered art. I kind of categorize them into like three general directions that people go. Extended art, so taking a card and then just basically removing the frame, extending the art of the card beyond the crop marks of the frame that it's in.
Yep.
We've even seen like the Wizards printing cards like this as well. So they've kind of been starting to take notice that this is something that players really like and enjoy.
Mm-hmm. So they're copying people is what you're saying.
They're copying people.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
One might say they're listening to the community.
That's a different way of.
Others might say they're opportunistically seeing a way to make more money.
One might say that, yes.
One of the other ways that a lot of people are doing alters are altered sleeves. Okay. So taking like the inner sleeves, whenever you like double sleeve a card, the clear inner sleeve, they actually do the artwork on that.
Oh, wow.
So then it's kind of cool because then basically it's not going to affect the card underneath. So if you ever want to like resell that card, or maybe you're a little, you have a really old card that you don't actually want to put paint on it or anything, you can still make a cool little alter to it. Maybe it's extended art or whatever, but it's just on the sleeve, which is kind of neat.
Absolutely. And that's kind of an interesting thing to bring up too, is that actually altering a card, although it might make it cooler, can actually kind of damage the value of the actual card. If you got a Black Lotus, if you someone got your hands on an Alpha Black Lotus and you had it altered, it's definitely worth less. Like it is worth a lot less than it originally was, unless it was like altered by some famous, artist, Da Vinci.
Well, Da Vinci, dig them up. If you think about it like a classic car, right?
Yep.
Some people really like the stock restoration of a classic,
Yep.
1960s era Corvette,
Sure.
right? But some people want to see that Corvette taken and chopped into like a hot rod and with, kind of a custom paint
Sure.
job and
Yeah.
new like parts and stuff like that. So, but it might only work for a certain audience. So yeah, I mean, it's just kind of one of those things. So when people get into altering cards, there is a little bit of, people get a little worried about that kind of stuff. Sometimes it's worth more, sometimes it's worth less. Depends on the person.
And it's what it's worth to you, kind of. If you personally have a connection to that card and you want that card altered,
Right.
then what does it matter to you if you're going to keep the card? If you're going to
Exactly.
keep that card forever, if it was a $200 card to start and you had it altered, you paid someone $50 and now it's only worth a $20 card essentially after all that somehow or whatnot. I'm
Sure.
not good with,
Whatever
finance and
resale
whatnot or
would be.
whatever it would be. But yeah, if you're never going to sell it, then what does it matter? It's what
Exactly.
matters to you.
Right, exactly. So the last way is fully reimagining the art of a card.
Mm-hmm.
So taking basically a card, and this is not proxy. We talk in a different episode about proxies.
Yep.
This is not
Again, you trying to pitch your episodes.
always, all the time.
Go back to that episode and comment how
Shamelessly
great Eric was.
self-promoting. So it's not proxies. This is taking like a card, a Muldrotha or something
Yep.
like that, and completely like wiping it out into a totally different creature or character or theme.
Mhm.
Well, there's so many cool things that are out there that artists are doing, and obviously a lot of people are doing them on commissions. So like it's somebody has a theme for their deck.
Yeah.
They want a certain card that doesn't fit exactly the theme that they want. Maybe it's a Star Wars theme build or something, and they want a Han Solo, something, then that's what they'll commission somebody to
Turn
to paint.
Gerard into Han Solo.
Sure, right, yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. I really love kind of seeing those reimaginings. Sometimes they pop up on Twitter or whatnot where someone's like, yeah, I've got this Han Solo version of this card. I'm like, oh, that is really sweet. I definitely, if I wasn't a budget player, I'd be like, yeah, I want all my decks,
Right.
completely altered. I like how you put the next point is, and we already kind of brought up a little bit, WotC is joining in more. So we did kind of bring up that, that WotC might be a little opportunistic, which is fair. They're a company. They got to make money somehow. But also there is a demand for more kind of, extended arts. There's a demand for, new kind of altered arts, kind of a different take on certain cards. I know there was like the Yargle like collection or whatever.
Yeah.
Was it a secret layer?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they've been doing that with the secret layers, especially.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that they were doing some more themed ones coming out. I haven't been really ear to the ground on that front, but yeah, like they did the whole Godzilla stuff.
Oh yeah.
I mean that's that right there. I mean that's like Wizards literally saying like we want to make Godzilla themed set.
And working with other intellectual properties to actually do so. So we'll see if there's more of those in the future. And from what I heard is that was pretty successful and people seem to really enjoy those.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we'll see some in the future. I know some people have said before, like, I'd love to see like a vehicle set come out and it's all like Gundams and stuff like that.
That would be really
pretty cool as a Gundam fan when I was a kid.
For sure.
Zoids, actually. All Zoids. Give me Zoids. Give me that crossover. That's what I haven't thought about in a while. Zoids.
We also saw some of this, the altered art stuff in Ikoria especially. I mean, like even at like common level cards, getting alternate art and extended art and like showcase art, and they're just kind of playing around with all these different things that you can start to get, and it's kind of neat. Like, I think they've been doing this for a while. I mean, we shouldn't say that they're just now noticing that people like this, but I think they've been ratcheting it up a little bit more in recent sets. Which is really cool to see, in my opinion. I think it's just kind of neat.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that, they're starting to realize more and more that people really do appreciate the art, and that, maybe putting a little more kind of effort and focus on that, you're going to get a different kind of portion of your audience that, might, buy in more to a product simply because they like the art. And that's great.
Yeah, exactly.
So
everybody likes to customize this game. That is like kind of the ethos and core of this game, is that like it's deck building from you. So like, why wouldn't you want to even take it another layer and make it that much more personal?
Yeah, especially commander players especially really like that kind of customization aspect of, a deck kind of represents them in some way too.
Big
and,
time.
Maybe having exactly cards that represent them from it, having some alternative arts in there could be great.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So this next part, I don't believe you. I really don't. You just said altering cards well is extremely difficult. That's got to be the simplest thing ever.
It's not. It's definitely not. So I've done a few alters and proxies myself. I am by no means somebody that is anywhere can even hold a candle to some of these amazing artists that are out there doing this on the regular, but being arty inclined, I guess.
Arty inclined.
Arty inclined.
That's on the resume.
It's on the resume. It's in the special interests of my resume.
Arty inclined.
I'm arty inclined. I decided I wanted to try and just I had a lot, like anybody, I had just a ton of like extra cards and things like that I just wanted to try and play around with this stuff as like an extra. I called it my COVID craft, actually, since we were stuck indoors for months and months.
Might as well take magic cards and make them into something else.
Yeah. So learning how to blank a card, learning how to like cut paint, because the thing is, like, when you alter a card, you still need to make it so that it isn't like thicker.
Oh yeah.
So it's really difficult to like really do a good job with like painting and that stuff like that, especially like acrylics and things that layer, without making it that much thicker, because you want to still make it as like a playable card. If it's like got all this like ridges and bumps and stuff, it's not, you're always going to know which card that is in your deck. And that
can be an advantage. So what you need to do.
If you want to know how to cheat, make a little dot on all of the cards you want to tutor into or draw in your opening hand.
I wonder what my next card is. Oh, Cyclonic Rift.
Third from the top. How is that there?
Go, yeah.
But like, so I just have to give like mad respect to anybody who is out there doing it and doing it well, especially.
Absolutely.
Like with anything, practice makes perfect. But the other thing that I found personally challenging, I'm an illustrator, kind of by my path. I'm not really much of a painter, but so the cards that I did were like with ink pen, and drawing at that size, detailed, is incredibly difficult.
I can imagine. I mean, how big is that square? That is like,
it's like
2 inches by 2 inches or something like that?
It's something. It's like 3 3 1/8 or 3 1/16 or something like that. It's small though. Like it's just one of those things where you don't realize how small it is until you're sitting there trying not to like put your finger on it. And if you're drawing in ink, then you don't want to smudge it.
Oh, sheesh.
There's a whole, it's definitely something that you have to get used to doing.
I would struggle probably even just drawing stick figures in there. I like to do any kind of an altar.
And there's not a lot of room for error either. No. I mean, especially if you're actually, like me, I'm just taking, old draft chaff and just kind of screwing around with them, making custom tokens mainly. But for these folks that are doing like commission pieces where they're altering somebody's card, somebody's Muldrotha, that's, I don't even know how much that card is now. It's like
15 or something like that right now.
But still, it's
still a $15 card.
$15 card.
Yeah.
And so like there's not a lot of room for error.
No.
Especially when we're talking about like you can't just paint over it as easily because you're putting yet another layer of paint on there. I mean, there's ways to take it off, but
can get a lot more complex. Yeah.
Definitely
so, a world that I would be absolutely terrible at trying to do. So
so when you look at altered art and you're like, oh, how are they charging, $50-$60 for that? There's a reason for it.
I feel like they're undercharging for that.
Yeah, exactly. Just respect the craft, I guess.
Exactly. Respect the craft. Tougher than it looks.
It's very, very, very
Absolutely. Tough. So now next up, you've got tips for beginners. What tips for beginners do you have?
Yeah, so I was thinking like for folks that were like myself a few months back that might be, seeing this and have been maybe thinking about it for a while, because I definitely thought about it for a while before I ever had the time to actually sit down and try it. Obviously do your research, go online. There's, just search it out. Like there's plenty of articles out there. Alterists are very forthcoming with their information. Like there's no like competition. Like they have some kind of secret sauce. There's not like a, well, I got to protect what I'm doing here.
Spreading a bunch of false information.
Yeah, no. I've asked artists, what kind of markers do you use, or what kind of pens, or what kind of paints, or whatever. And they're all very, very open to sharing that kind of information and stuff like that. So yeah, just do your research. Follow artists that you like. Just search like a hashtag on Instagram, like MTGALTERS is a good one. I follow that hashtag and I find so many awesome alterists through that. And then just, you'll kind of find the niches of the folks that you really like, and you'll get inspired by them and stuff like that. So it's cool to kind of just go that route, and you'll spend a lot of time just kind of trolling Instagram for cool art.
Yeah, especially when you kind of find that, again, those Han Solo,
Right.
you're exactly kind of like, oh, I never even thought of like that character being kind of representative of this one, and this kind of funny situation. Like there was the even I'm giving credit to Wizards right now. Wow, that's a first, right? But in that I think it was a secret lair with like the slime edition or whatnot. Like Void Slime was hilarious.
So
like,
good.
Oh man,
and the flavor text.
Oh, do you see the word fiddle flip is in the flavor
It
text?
is.
Yeah, it's just it's so
Easter
good.
egg.
But just kind of just like it adds an interesting kind of extra little fun kind of on top of this game that's already fun or whatnot. Just an extra layer of, hey, yes, this game's awesome. It's got great mechanics. It's got all these great things that are going on, but also the art is just fantastic because it can be beautiful, it can be comical, it can be unique to you.
Yeah, the art was what drew me into the game when I was young. We used the cards as drawing references.
That's awesome.
And that's kind of what was awesome about starting to get into doing like these custom tokens and stuff that I was doing for some of our friends and whatnot. Is it kind of reignited that for me a little bit. And like I even found like I had it stuffed away in like a shoebox, just a handful of X-Men cards. I used to collect X-Men cards way back when, and I was like using them as like themes. So I made like a Beast X-Men token, so 3/3 Beast, and I gave it to a buddy. So I've made a handful of those. I did a construct that was Iron Man, and just based it off of, I just kind of had one of the X-Men cards. They're almost the exact same size, so it's kind of nice from a drawing reference standpoint. You can kind of be like, all right, cool. Kind of map it out pretty easily.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess ultimately the last thing for beginners is practice. You're not going to be good at it right away. It's going to take you a long time, just like anything.
Yeah.
But just play around, find the techniques that work for you. I tried a bunch of different ways of blanking cards and things like that. Before I found a way that worked for me.
Yeah.
And same thing with like the ink pens that I was using and all that different stuff. So it's just a matter of trial and error. So just keep practicing and try it.
Yeah, keep at it. And yeah, I mean, if you struggle, if you don't like the way it turns out the first time or the first few times, that's completely fine. You're learning. You know? I mean, the first couple episodes that I did on this channel, I look back and I'm like, I don't want to watch those anymore. I sound terrible. These transitions are awful. At least Wayfarer's Bob was still back there, and it was 12 cents back then. Those days.
Reminiscence.
Exactly. The last section that we have on here is some of your favorite inspiring and inspired said favorite. Some inspiring and favorite alterists on Instagram. Why don't you give some people some ones to check out?
Yeah, and this is not a comprehensive list. These are just kind of the handful that I personally am really, really stoked on. Probably my favorite is a gal that goes by the handle @StarsIsItMagic. She does really, really cool interpretations of stuff. A lot of her stuff is like auctioned or just like flat price on her profile, which is cool. So you can actually buy her stuff straight off of her profile. I don't know how to say this one, but it's MLLIZAVX _ MTGALTERS.
You don't know how to say Milzvex?
Yeah. They're amazing. Super, super cool stuff. Another one that's been doing it for quite a while is it's Level Up Alters, but it's LEV3L.
Oh. So just trying to throw you off just a little bit on the search.
And they've been doing it for a really long time. Well, not a really long time, but a few years. But they're really, really talented. She does some cool stuff with like some of the stuff that kind of speaks to me, like the X-Men stuff. Like she had a Bosch Iron Golem that was Colossus.
Oh, that's so cool.
Super cool. And that's so on theme for what Bosch does. Yeah. So
chucks things.
Yeah,
Colossus
right.
chuck things.
Exactly.
Perfect.
And then lastly, MIBALTERS is probably one of the most talented artists that I've seen in a really, really long time, just in general. And to do it on such a small scale of a card is just nothing short of incredible. He interprets so many different cards on there. The one that's special for me is his Krenko Tin Street Kingpin.
Oh yeah,
it's like all gangster and stuff like that.
So cool.
I obviously love goblins. I have a Tin Street deck, and I might just have to figure out a way that I can get him to make another one for me at some point.
Just that cool.
It's so cool.
That's awesome. One that I will bring up is @CloverAlters. Actually, I have one altered card in my collection, and it's CloverAlters is from the Spike Feeders, and she was kind enough to alter my Joyra with some extended art, some beautiful extended art. Basically, when they had my Jory deck on their channel. I think it was a $75 version of it, but regardless, she was kind enough to alter my Jory for me, and it is one of my prized possessions in my Magic collection. So thank you at Clover Alters, and yeah, please check out at Clover Alters. Does a fantastic job.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's so cool. Some of it's, I mean, like, you'll see it and you're like, well, that's just one that you would get from Wizards. Like, it's absolutely incredible.
Better. Wizards
quality
would probably come like, curled. And,
yeah, right. Yeah, it'd be all foil curled.
The package would be already ripped in half.
What are you talking about? They're always perfect products. There's never anything wrong.
There's never anything wrong that ever happens with those cut sheets or whatever. I don't even know. I don't know. I'm not the person who evaluates the cut sheets or that's not what this channel is about. Budget, alters.
Budget, always. Budget, alters. What are we doing here?
Exactly. I don't know. You're always here, apparently, right?
Apparently I am. Well, yeah. I'm right behind that wall.
That's how it works.
I got a secret little hatch. I live back there.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
Anyways, so basically kind of now it's your turn. Do you have any awesome alters or any favorites that you've seen? Any, share them in the comments below. If you've got any favorite artists, make sure you say that as well.
Yeah, show them some love. I mean, they're doing amazing things. It's again, I can't overhype the talent that's out there in this. And it's, again, like Commander's a grassroots format.
Yep.
And this is a grassroots like movement within our game, which is really, really cool to see.
It fits in perfectly.
Yep.
Anyways, thanks for joining me on the show again, Eric.
Thank you for having me.
And as always, thanks again and have a good one.